Hello friends, welcome back to Laravel 9 tutorial. In this video we are going to discuss about the routing concept, right? So if you just go to the project directory, so this is the Laravel 9 application, and in our last video we installed Laravel 9 application and we discussed about the folder structure and file structures and purpose of that things. So if you don't see that video, please see from my previous video, links are provided in the description section. In this video we are going to discuss about the routing, right? So this is one of the important things of Laravel 9, and not only Laravel 9, this is an important thing for Laravel. And there are basically four types of routes, that is api.php, this is the routes api.php, channels.php, console.php and web.php, right? So these are the four types of routes. Basically the routing is the process of selecting a path for traffic in a network or between or across the multiple network, right? So there are four types of routes. So these are the four types of routes and they have separate purpose of this. The basic route is web.php, right? So we'll start from the web.php, then we'll discuss about the api.php, then channel, console, right? So web.php is the most common route when you are going to build your any application URL, right? This is under web middleware group. So if you just go to the route service provider, you can see this is the route service provider, app providers, route service provider, and you can see this is the route service provider class, and here there is a middleware group, and the web.php is under web middleware group. And if you check the API is under API middleware group. So difference between these two things is the accessing type. Means if you are using web.php and under the web middleware, actually you can access the session related thing or CSRF protection, okay. And if you use the api.php, you will not get sessions and you cannot get the CSRF token. Actually we don't need, when we don't need CSRF token or sessions, then we will use api.php. So the purpose of api.php is to basically implement any APIs, right? So if you just going to create your Android application or iOS application, then you will never get the CSRF token or sessions. Then you need to connect the Laravel with a token. That time you can use the api.php, right? So basic things are clear. Now let's create some API and let's use how we can do this, right? So this is web.php, and let's, if you want to create an URL, suppose you are going to create a URL like that. Suppose this is your project URL and you want to create a new link, that is /users, okay. And if you just enter this, you can see 404 not found, right? That means this type of URL is not accessible or not registered into your application. That means this is unknown to this application. So how we can do this? Suppose if I want to create this type of links, simply just create a route. So to define any route, you need to use a route, then scope resolution operator, and after that you can write any kind of method. Suppose if I just going to enter this into the URL directly, that means we are using the get request. And let's create a URL, right? So here my URL is users, so just copy this and paste it here, and I just going to create a closure functions, and inside the function we will write the things which I need, right? So simply here write return this is user page, right? And if you now just go here and refresh this, we can see this is our user page. That means these are registered, this URL is registered into my application, and this is the known URL. So if I just write users list, then it will not appear because these register are not appear. So you can understand, basically in route we are filtering. That means using route we can process the request and we can understand this is the valid URL or not, or this is already registered or not, right? So this is the main purpose of things. So now if I just going to create a same URL for API, then what happened? So simply just go to the postman. This is my API testing tool, and simply write these things. Okay, so this is the things, and I want to write some things into api.php. So you can write the same things in the api.php, but if I want to get access from the api.php, we need to use API, right? So if I now just click on send, it will get this is user page. So simply if I change here, this is user page from API, right? Now you can understand, right? This is user page from API, and here you are using this is user page. That means we are getting these things from the web.php. Okay, so you can understand how this working web.php and api.php. So let's see some features, and let's understand some things we can do with the web.php or routes, right? So simply if I just going to access the particular user's account, means suppose my user ID is 10, so I want to get access of these things. That time it's showing 404 not found. And if I just register user / 10, means let's create another, and right here train, and this is user page and ID is 10. all right. So if I just going to access, so we can see, but if I just going to access 11, then again it's showing 404 not found. That means we cannot understand how many will be here and how much we have here. But so how we can generalize, or how we can take these things as a parameter, so that using that parameter or based on that parameter we'll get the page, right? So very simple. So here inside a route we have things that is we can use as a parameter, right? Suppose here just write ID, and then if I just refresh this, we are getting this is page and ID is 10, and suppose if I change is 145, so we are getting these things page, right? Means every time we will get that page. But here another problem is arises. Suppose if I want to get these things with that URL, means if I write 145, then here it should be ID is 145, or if I write suppose 1, it should be 1, right? Means I want to make the output dynamically. Then how we can do this? Simply we are getting the ID here, and we can pass that thing. So simply write ID, and we can get access of this ID from here also. So here just write $ID, okay, and now refresh. So if you just refresh this, this is user page and ID is coming from URL, that is 1. And if I write something different, means 999 anything, so right? So we are getting these things, means we can pass the parameter, right? So there is no problem to register for each students, so we can make it dynamic. Now another things I want to show you one things, means why we use two routes for the same purpose. So we can do this in a same route. So how we can do this? Now simply if I just remove this, we can get access of that things, and if I change this, we can get access of that things. And if I completely remove these things, we are getting 404 not found. That means this link not registered into my application as we close this line, right? Now I want to use the same routes, and I want to access, or I want to do the same functionality, right? How can I do this? So we need some things like that. We can pass the data, or we can simply not pass the data. Means I want to make this parameter as optional. Then how we can do this? Then simply if I just create here a question mark, right, that time it became optional, right? Now if I just pass this 1 2, we are getting, and if I not pass, then it should also get, but there may have a problem, right, as we are not passing any things and we will not get these things into here. So let's see the error. So we are getting the too few arguments, right, too few arguments to functions. That means we are not getting the proper argument because it's accepting some IDs. So that time we can make it default. All right, you can say it as null, that will okay. Or if you want to create some default, means if you don't provide any ID, that time I can by default make as 0. So if you don't provide anything, the ID is 0, or if you provide anything, that time it will appear. So this is the default things I have set it, and based on that things we can create a logic also. Means if I write here if $id equal to null, so by default I am setting as null, means we are not getting anything. That time if id is null, then we will just return the output when we just using the uppercase, right, means in top section. So return this is user page. Okay, so we can do this. So simply we are getting the id is 132 and change this id is 11, and if I not pass any things, we'll get this is user page. So this is simple logical concept, right? So now this type of things is clear, right? Now if I just want to pass another parameter, suppose I want to pass these things, users, and suppose here pass the learning points, and then the id, anything, right? So I just show you how we can pass this. Sometimes you may need these type of things, means you need two dynamic parameters. So this time it's again showing 404 not found. That time suppose we can pass the things like here. So simply just write name, and we can pass this name from here also, $name, and we know how to set the default. So simply write null, and here we can write this is name, and just concatenate these things, dollar name, and id is something. So simply if I just refresh this, we are getting this learning points and id is 12. Again we need to make it optional, right? So just make it optional, and if you not pass anything, then we are not getting anything, right? So we can pass any kinds of parameter if you need, right? Now the thing is I just changing the id section here, and I want to show you another thing. Suppose I want to make the validation also, means this is name, whatever they have, just remove this, and I just removing this part also. So let's make it some clear so that we'll understand clearly. Okay, so now this is the things, this is users, and suppose write John, I am passing some name. It's not working. Why? Users, sorry, there should have a curly braces. So this is John, and write Jack. So this is Jack, it's coming. But if I just pass the id or something numeric, so this is 78, I want the name parameter always should have a value between any character, means A to Z in uppercase or lowercase, but any name should not have any number. How can I do this? We can do validation with the routes. So simply I can set anything. Suppose here we have another option where, and inside where, as we are using the name, so exactly same things will need name, and we can set the rule. How we can set the rule? So I need name should be in capital A to Z or small a to Z, right? and this can have a multiple a multiple b, means a character can be repeatedly appear, so we can write plus. So now if I just refresh this 404 not found, we are passing the parameter but it's not matching, right? So 404 not found. And if I simply change to the any character, suppose abcd, it will still work. That means we are getting more filtered value, and we can filter or we can validate from the routed also, right? And now another thing, if you need something, right, every time, suppose if I just create a phone number and we can set the rule that is phone number always be numeric and 10 digit, right? That time always we need, means in our application every time if I need this, we can do this. Suppose I want to create the same logic for name in our application, in from no place we will get any name with numeric value. So how can do this globally? So simply just go to the route service provider, and here we can get the boot function, right? So boot function is automatically called, and here we can write a pattern, right? So simply inside the boot function simply write anything, right? So route, and we can use the pattern. So what will be the pattern? And now if I just use these the same things, means just copy this from here and just paste to the route service provider. So this is the globally we are accepting, right? So now just remove this, and now just refresh, we are getting. And if I just add any number and it's showing 404 not found, means we are removing from web.php and we are setting in the route service provider. So what is the benefit? So let's create another routes with the name parameter, means suppose here write student, okay, and here also we are getting name, so that will also validate, right? So simply write students abcd1 2, so it's not getting the file. But if I just write John here, the only character present, so simply we are getting output, means we don't need to set the pattern or validation every case. We are setting the name each time when you get any name inside our application, will validate with these things, right? So this is the important things. Now I want to use the same routes with multiple methods. How we can do this? Simply if I just create another routes, so let's create a route and suppose write any methods, means I will use the match case, means inside this we may have a URL should have any methods, means like you can use get or you can use post, right? If anyone is true, that time it will work, right? Suppose I am using match, this is the URL, and simply just use the closer function like this. So simply use function, and let's use this, and here simply write return this is match route. Okay, I just writing these things so that we can pass. So simply if I just use the match, and let's see, we are getting this is match route, but we cannot pass the post request from here. We need some forms or any kinds of things. So simply I just moving to the api.php so that we can test through the postman, right? And here I am just writing these things in the api.php so that we can pass any kind of these things, right? Any kind of request. So I just using the match here, and just click on send. We are getting this is match route, and if we just post, this will still okay. And if I just write put, it will not work, right? So it's actually showing the 404 page, right? The put method not supported for this route, means any routes between these things, get, post, or if I just simply add the put here also, then this time put will work, means it will actually match whether in this section or in this array our request is coming or not. Okay, that time it will work. So in a single route declaration we can use that things. Another things, I will give you more flexible things, right? You can use any, right? So instead of that things, if I just use the any, so just remove the array and simply write any. Okay, so any kind of things will accept. So if I just send this, we are getting this is match route, or if I just use the get, that will also work. And if I just use anything, suppose if I use still delete also, that time it will call, means any kind of request it can handle. So this is all about the web.php and api.php, and another two routes is present in Laravel, that is channels and console.php. So let's discuss with that thing. So basically these are not much things and we can discuss in deep because if you just check in two route section, channel and console, there are different purpose, right? So basically channels.php and console.php is using basically for special purpose. So if you just go to the channels.php, it's actually using the broadcast, right? It's related to broadcasting. So channel.php is basically used to create any broadcast for your application, such as if you have ever wanted to send notification from the server to the client when something happens on the server, right? So you are looking for the broadcasting features. Suppose let's assume two user, that is A and B, and A wants to send a message to B and you want to notify the user B in the real time, then you may display a pop-up or alert box to the B to inform that is new messages appear. Then you need broadcasting. So this is the large concept and I will display when we discuss about the broadcasting in deep, right? So basically for real-time application, Laravel can give you these things, right? So like there have features like pusher, so we'll discuss on that things. And another things or another API is console.php. So console.php, so what is console.php? Using this console.php or console route, you can create your own artisan command. So you can see that it's artisan command inspire, right? And if you want to create your own artisan command, you can create this just like if you just going to create artisan and command commands, not s, command, and let's create a test command, and then write a function that should be a closer function, and let's use that closer function and let's write some things. Suppose if we just are going to echo something, right? Like custom console comment, or you can write custom artisan command, no problem on that. And simply how you can write this or how you can test this. So as we are creating things, so you can see the artisan command, test command. That means if you just go to the terminal and let's write here php artisan test command. So actually new command is created and just enter this, we are getting custom console command. So in this way we can create a custom console command. But in real life, when you make your project into the live server, then you will definitely not run this command manually, right? You need some automatic system, so that to make it into the automatic system, you can register your command into the app console kernel.php. So just go app console kernel.php. Actually these are registered into the application, means if you just go here console.php, by default they have inspire, right? And simply just go here, you can write these things, right? So you can set your command hourly or per minute. So let's see how many scheduler you have in your application. Basically this is a scheduling things, right? So to check how many scheduler you have, so write php artisan schedule schedule list, right? List. Now just enter. So no schedule tasks have been defined, means if you schedule any task that can be seen, means basically for cron related things, if you want to create some crons and if you want to make the cron will run with a specific time, then you can use this. So how can I schedule this? Actually by default these are closed. For inspire command actually these are closed and it will run hourly. So now if I just run this again, we can get these are the php artisan inspire command, and next due 52 minutes after from now, means after 52 minutes it will run. Actually it will run every 1 hour, means hourly. And if I just want to set my things, means if I just want to use my command, then we can write this. So simply just use the test command instead of inspire. Simply we can see a new command is, or new scheduler is added, right? So php artisan test command also will run in every hour. So if I need to run these things in every minute, or if I want to customize our cron timing, then how can I do this? Simply write Laravel schedule, right? And just go here, and we are using the Laravel 9, and here simply you have an option to schedule this type of things, right? So to make it every minute we can run this. So instead of hourly we can write every minute, that means every minute it will run. So simply just run it again. So we can see this will run in 49 seconds, means every minute it will run. Or if you need to use every 5 minutes, then you can write in every 5 minutes, right? And let's make run again, and you will get the next due in 33 seconds from now, means every 5 minutes it will run, right? And there are lots of options, so you can choose, and as per your requirement you can write this. So there is every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, hourly at which time, means if I want to set at 10 a.m., right? So simply write here in this way, hourly at 17. So simply write, instead of 17 we can write 10, and let's run this. So let's clear first and schedule list. So 10, right? So next due 59 minutes from now, means it is working accordingly, right? So this is the scheduler things. Now let's say you want to run any query into your database, or how can you do this to the console.php or console routes, right? So you can access your database through here also. So simply create another things, another comments like suppose test query, or simply write SQL query, and you can get access of the SQL related things also. So simply just use DB, and you can write any DB query. So simply write statement, and inside your statement you can write your query, that is anything. So simply write your query, okay? So your query will be here. And suppose if you have lots of console commands and you cannot remember what the things is, so simply write here the description also, DSCRIPT, description, and simply note here your description to execute query, or you can write your purpose also. So in this way you can write these things. So this is all about the routing concept, but we discussed all about using the closure functions and not using any outside functions. So we have not directly called any functions. So next day we are going to discuss about Laravel controller, and that time we will learn about types of controller, and at the same time we will learn how we can call a controller functions using routes, right? So hope you will like this video, and still if you have any queries about this video, please comment in a below comment section. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye.